Hello everyone and welcome back to Age of Nagash, which of course is a channel dedicated to Age of Sigmar. And in this particular video, as has been with a lot of these videos, Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. And what we're going to be talking about in this particular video, like I say, it's going to be the Warhammer preview they did today. I don't even know what the name of it was, I missed that, but it's called the Dominion Celebration. So pretty straightforward. And this is where they've shown us all new models coming for the Kruleboyz. You may be thinking, that's a brand new army anyway. There's even more new models coming. Yep, there's new models coming for your Kruleboyz. There is the Orruk Warclans Battletome coming out for them, which we predicted. And there's a Stormcast Battletome coming out. And then there's even more Stormcast models coming out, which where in the past I was kind of a bit like, Stormcast seem to get all the new models all the time. I mean, they haven't had they haven't had a proper release for about 3 years, but you know, Beast of Chaos, everything else, I feel you. But anyway, so we've got loads of Stormcast models coming out, and I think, I'll be honest, I haven't read through this article yet, but I have heard one of my mates said they skipped to the end and it said something about the Battletomes coming out in August. So that's why I've put as the title of this video that all this stuff's coming out in August. We'll see if that was actually me, unintentionally clickbaiting, or if that's actually true. But also joining me in this video is we've got the lovely Boris. So this is the first time Boris has been on the channel, and actually the first time yourself has been on YouTube. But you're a great member of the Discord, and I thought it'd be absolutely lovely to have someone as passionate as you about the Kruleboyz in today's video. So how are you doing today, Boris?
I'm doing amazing, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
That's fantastic. No worries at all. And if anyone's watched my video from yesterday and saw that all the timestamps are done for the FAQs, that was actually done by Boris as well. You know, you can say thank you. I think 20 odd people like that comment. So that's a good service you did there. Okay, so going into this, again, we're talking about Stormcast. That's going to be, a big part. And the other part is the Kruleboyz. So whatever side of the fence you're on with this, let me know. Are you a Kruleboyz guy? Are you going to be a Stormcast person? Let me know that in the chat of this video or the comments down below. Or if you like both of them, fantastic. Or if you did buy yourself some Dominion box sets, that would be great to hear as well. And I think for myself, just want to get something out of the way. And it's something that's came up recently, is because I may have started painting some of my Stormcast that have literally been thrown upon me. Instead of just throwing them away, because that wouldn't be very good for the planet, that would be a waste, I had decided to actually work my Stormcast and to actually turn it into an army. So for all intents and purposes of being able to still call myself Nagash, they are actually Ossiarch Bone Reapers wearing Stormcast armor, and it's like a disguise. It's like, a wolf in sheep's clothing. So that's the idea behind that.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly. So, no, but basically, I'm going to, from what I've heard in the past, I'm going to try not to be too hateful on the Stormcast, I think. And I can't really if I'm going to be collecting them. So I'm very excited about everything we've been shown here. But with enough preambling out of the way, I'm just going to read through what we've got in the chat already, and then we'll go straight into the preview. So Christopher saying, just got my Dominion box. Love them. Can't wait to add. Fantastic. Yeah, all this stuff. And I think it's, because I think it is coming out in August. We've got that lovely hopefully enough time for you to guys to at least build most of this or paint some of it. So it's not like it's all coming out at once and it's just too much to handle. It's like a nice little gap. Raytail was saying that afternoon chaps, Kruleboyz look mega. They really do. That monster coming for the Kruleboyz. We'll get to that later, but it looks so good. Raytail saying hi. So hi, mate. Good to have you watching the channel again. And then we've got Elic Man saying, got my Dominion last night. Super happy about it, but I'm really hoping that the Vindicators get their own kit. If not, they better be an additional build option in the kit for Vanquish. I believe the Vindicators are the Stormcast with the big spears and the shields, which I
believe they're a separate kit. I think they said that, but they're in the same line, but I think they're a separate kit.
Yeah, we'll see when we'll go through, shall we? So the first thing we're going to do is, like I do with normal, we're going to read through all this stuff. You said we've got this playing in the background, but basically the stream restarts itself here, but we won't be watching it because we already have. And if you haven't, you can go check out on the Warhammer community site if you would like to. So it says, Dominion is finally here, and the Mortal Realms will never be the same again. The release of this huge launch box is just the beginning for the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and there's a huge amount more to come this year. grab your clippers, your mold line removers, your paint. I love it how there's links to all these products that you can buy. That's
like, hey, if you really wanted to, if you like what you see, here's everything you need. And oh, by the way, here's the links to where you can pay us money to give them to you.
£21 for model clippers. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have them. I've got them around here somewhere. Like, I bought them, but still, 21. I'm pretty sure they weren't that expensive. Anyway, going on with the preview. So it says, welcome to the first day of the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. As part of the Dominion celebration, our live Twitch show revealed fantastic new miniatures, including Shining Stormcast Eternals Paladins and some exquisitely swampy specimens for the Orruk Warclans. The first in the new line of best ever Battletomes. The tantalizing hints of what's to come later in the year. So I just want to wonder, like, I bought the Soulblight Gravelord Battletome that came out about a month ago. Clearly, it's not a best ever Battletome because it wasn't the first. But
it is in my heart. It still is in my heart.
It is in my heart as well. The artwork is amazing. But it says, don't worry if you missed it. We have all the new information for you right here. So again, you can go on the Warhammer community site to see this. So we're talking about the Battletomes. Now, there's so much we can go into by just talking about Battletomes, but just even looking at the front covers to see some hints of maybe some models they haven't shown us yet. So it says the new Battletomes, the Orruk Warclans and Stormcast Eternals are the stars of the Dominion box set. So it's only right that they get the first Battletomes in the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Let's take a look at the glorious covers. So this is something that we did predict that they would be getting it. Now, I can't really zoom in too much because how I'm streaming this, but when I mean I can't zoom in too much, I can't zoom in at all, but I will use my my little mouse to try and point out what I want to say. So we've got the Stormcast, we've got the Stormcast one here, and then the Orruk Warclans one here. Now, we have got some sort of creature here, some sort of flying creature with massive like bull horns in its head. They kind of hint maybe a little bit towards Chaos Dwarves. I can't remember what the flying massive bull creature was, but it looks a little bit like that. There's a bit of spitball in here, and they are hints that the Hobgrots have got links to the Chaos Dwarves, but why would the Chaos Dwarves have anything to do with Warclans apart from the link there? Like, why would they be in this Battletome, which they're not going to be? But it's a bit of a hint. That's all I'm going to say. And then the other thing as well is that we have some sort of flying dragon here that clearly is not a Maw Crusher. It's far too skinny. Now, I have seen Battletomes where they've had models like, or artwork of models in the background, or I've seen artwork where they have like models in the background like this. You might probably won't be able to see it. There's a Cadano artwork I have behind me, and that has a Cadano Overlord ship that's being attacked by a Chaos Dragon. Now, that artwork came out about 4 years ago, and we're still yet to see a model come out for that. So I don't want to, might be speculating a bit, but potentially we could have a couple flying beasties come for the Orruk Warclans, one looking like a dragon. So that is something I just wanted to hint in there. Is there anything else that you sort of picked up on the Orruk Warclan Battletome, Boris?
Well, not really in the details, but I do appreciate the fact that it's not just a Kruleboyz Battletome. It's an entire Battletome for all the Orruk Warclans. So all these Orruks are getting updated for 3.0 in one go. They didn't just do what I think a lot of people were expecting. Oh, here's the Kruleboyz. Like, no, they're going to hit you all at once, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and what's also a nice thing here as well is that they did specifically, and I know we can't always take what they say when they do the preview streams completely seriously, because I've done that before and turned out they were saying things that weren't true. But what they did say is that apparently everything in each of these Battletomes will change, including the older models. So things like the Orruk Brutes, like their points will change, or their War Scroll will change a bit. On the Stormcast Liberators will change a bit in their rules. That's what they said on the stream. So hopefully that'll be true, just to make it feel like it is actually a Battletome for the older stuff as well, and not just the old Battletome with the new War Scrolls put into it. So hopefully that's something that we will see. I think will be pretty good, because they said that's what we're going to see. So hopefully they're telling the truth. And then the Stormcast one, I don't think I really see any new models in it. I can see that we've got the new statue here that we've seen in the scenery. And then we've got some Slaves of Darkness here. I mean, that's a very cool Slaves of Darkness guy here, which I don't recognize that model because it's like a twin sword guy. But, you know, Chaos is very creative in its artwork.
It looks very Varanguard-ish, but it definitely is not a Varanguard. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it could be maybe like New Chaos Chosen or 1.0, but again, spitballing here. But I just thought it's nice to mention because it's enough. They haven't just told us straight that this dragon could potentially be a model, but it's nice to speculate, isn't it? So it says, as well as the war scrolls for the units in Dominion, these books contain new artwork and lore that delves deeper than ever before into each faction. They also expand on the awesome Path to Glory narrative campaign rules for Warhammer Age of Sigmar core rulebook. So Path to Glory is something I really want to try out. I really want to get more on sort of like the narrative side of Age of Sigmar. So it's interesting to know that the Path to Glory that's been updated in the core book and looks very good, much better than it was before, and a lot more structure to it. They're going to be carrying it over into the Battletomes like they did in 2nd edition. But whereas in 2nd edition, it was a bit annoying to have to flip through all the Path to Glory stuff to get to all the rules. Hopefully Path to Glory now is going to be more relevant, or at least it will not be in the middle of like the match pace section.
Fingers crossed, we can hope.
Fingers crossed. You get paper cuts trying to flip through those pages. It says both books include new sub-faction rules, and best of all, every Battletome in the new edition contains a code that lets you access all its rules in the upcoming Age of Sigmar app, which is due to head into beta later this year. So that's obviously to do with Warhammer Plus, where they said basically if you like the old Warhammer Age of Sigmar app, it's not going to be updated. It's going away. It's going to be faded out, and the new app is going to be included with your Warhammer Plus subscription. Now, I'm not here to tell you if you should do the Warhammer Plus or not, but I was and ahhing about it, and the amount of things you get for like $4.99 a month or something, it's probably worth doing, like the app and stuff like that. So it's also quite interesting that I like it that they finally made it so you can put these books onto a digital format. So like you might not be able to carry all these books around, or maybe you're bored, you're waiting for a bus for 5 minutes, and you just thought you want to do some list building on your phone for like your Orruk Kruleboyz army, and then you're like, but what was that artifact? Well, I wanted to look at the artifacts again for my sub-legions, and then you just go, well, I can get up on my phone. So I am a fan of that, as long as the app works well, unlike the 40k app from what I have heard.
I have no experience with the Warhammer 40k app, but I do hope it works, because if they do this right, it should be amazing. Because like you said, like, hey, I got my book, it's on my phone. I don't have to bring this big book with me. Yeah. Or because before you could buy your book or you could buy the EPUB version, but now if you get both, there's no harm in getting the physical book, because you can still bring it on. You still get an EPUB version. Like, you're good. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. And it's also it's just, but if I know anything about the apps, it's like, so I pay for the Azir part of the app, and part of me doesn't know why. And like even just the Age of Sigmar app, it's great for viewing war scrolls, but every time there is an update, it does seem to be a case of let's say, what's an example? Like, I don't know if this did happen, but the Slaves of Darkness Battletome comes out, let's say, right? When that came out. And then it's like, it's coming out this date. There's like, we've been aware about that it's coming out on this Saturday for 2 weeks now. And then it gets to the release day of Saturday, and it's almost like the app department goes, oh crap, well, someone could have told us about this earlier. We've got to do the work on it now. Why did someone tell us about 2 weeks? And that's no dig at the app department, because I honestly think it's not a case of they're not doing their jobs right, because I have no experience in app development, but I think it's more of a case of Games Workshop need to spend a bit more of their cash they've collected on maybe employing more people in the app department, rather than probably giving very few people too much work to do, which I can imagine is probably what happened.
I think you're right on that point.
Yeah, so like we say, we're moving from the apps and stuff, but I just think it's something important to know, because that app thing is going to be such a big change. It's going to be, if you don't have Warhammer Plus, you don't have the app. So, and hopefully they don't touch War Scroll Builder on the Warhammer community side, because that is really, really nice, and like a really nice thing that's been around in the community for a long time.
I love using Warhammer War Scroll Builder. So awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And I think the people who made it, because they made it and then Games Workshop partnered with them, but I think the people who made it were making the first points for Age of Sigmar before Age of Sigmar had points, so there's quite a bit of respect for them. Okay, so I'm just going to read through the chat stuff before we go on to new miniatures, just so I catch up. Race is saying that I did not get I did not get mine. Order directed by Games Workshop. Should I be worried, or is it too early? Don't be worried, mate. I'll be honest. So, like I said, I've got my one tiers behind me, and I didn't know if I'd get them today. So I went by a third party basically, so I wanted to save some money. But I've ordered by third party before. And I know you said you've ordered directly from Games Workshop, so it should be more reliable. But you'll probably get it on Monday, is what I'm going to say. I mean, I ordered from a third party, the Soulblight Gravelord Battletome, and I waited like a week to get that, so I couldn't do really any videos on it. So my Y play video was delayed for ages. These things happen, but I wouldn't be worried about it. If you don't get it on Monday and then you don't get it on Tuesday, and there's no communication on when you're going to get it, then give them a call, mate, I'd say. But sorry to hear you didn't get it, Mad. So we've got Rattel saying that, think I found my bad guys army with Kruleboyz. Oh dear, the wallet is going to hurt. Yeah, it is, mate. But the best thing is when it's always find when debit cards came along, credit cards, it's so much easier to spend money than when you actually physically hand over cash. The handing over cash feels harder to do. Digitally, it's like, yeah, well, it's only £20, £20, $30, whatever, and then suddenly you realise that you don't have any money.
Yeah, look at you, Steam Summer Sale.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's awful stuff. It's like, yeah, I've never played Dark Souls. I need all of them. But I think there's a new Demon Souls on PlayStation.
There is. They remastered it.
Good.
I haven't played it, but I know they remastered it, and I remember the original being really good. So
that's cool. So I really, like Dark Souls, something I've never played. But when I try and make things like conversions and stuff for Age of Sigmar, like creepy and everything for lore, I do look at Dark Souls as an inspiration for that very sort of dark aesthetic. So it's fantastic. But going back to this, we've got Sean saying that I got my Dominion box and traded my Stormcast for more Kruleboyz. Wow! So obviously that was either split between two people here, where people will say that was pronounced correctly, and the other people will say that was pronounced wrongly. But I hope you know the spirit of that word was there. But no, that's absolutely fantastic, Sean. I'll be honest, I swear a lot of this when I've been doing it, some people have been wanting the Kruleboyz stuff, and then some people have been going, mainly going for the Stormcast stuff, and it sounded like a lot more people now switching to the Kruleboyz now that we've got all the cruel and cool goodies coming out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, we've got new miniatures down here, but we're just going to read this quickly. So we've got Rattil saying, chaps, buy US-made clippers. I got mine off Amazon for $8.99. Beats the crap out of the Chinese built rubbish. To be fair, these probably are made around. I mean, all I'm going to say is it didn't cost them £21 to make this.
Exactly. It did not cost them that much money.
What's that?
Oh, that's what
$37.
When I was getting in, looking into getting into the hobby, all I did is I hit Amazon up for cheap art supplies. I'm not going to buy it for Games Workshop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sponsored by Amazon. Don't get me wrong. If they for some reason would like to sponsor a small hobby channel, then absolutely, I'll take all the money. But I'm not sponsored by them, so just in case that comes up a lot. But I buy a lot of my stuff on Amazon because Prime is just too good to say no. So we then have Race again saying I ordered 2. So this is the Dominion box set. Will sell book and duplicates characters, only keeping 2 wizards each and 20 hobgrots and both sets of command token markers, due 2,000 points, Stormcast Eternals, and nearly what is GB?
I do not know what GB is.
Great Britain is what I'm going to say for that. But no, so that's pretty cool, mate. To be honest with me, with my duplicate characters for the Stormcast anyway, because I ordered 2, are going to be converted up for my Lights to the Nesh Starters. So that's my loophole out of that. But I'm quite excited. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with that core rule book. Probably sell it because I need money. I don't know yet. And then he's also said that Race saying that I ordered 2. Oh, is that just the same comment? Yeah, the same.
Oh, he said nearly 2K of Kruleboyz.
Ah, right. I see what we got there. Yeah, already. So that's pretty good, isn't it? And then you got Rattel saying, "Lol to me." Oh yes, that's the very scary part. And with plastic money, what the hell? You only live once. Yes, and the life certainly will be shorter. We'll be buying more of these. Thing is, though, like, if you're on your deathbed, at least you can be surrounded by, your Kruleboyz.
Yeah.
So, it'd be amazing. What a better way to go, because they'd probably pick your corpse. They'd probably come alive, and it's horrible. It's like something out of a nightmare. But then we have Samuel saying, I hadn't considered getting my Orruks for my first night. So I hadn't considered getting any Orruks at first. So from first time. But if they would get a flying dragon model, that might seal the deal. For me, yeah, it looks like again, like, we'll move on to the models and stuff, but it looks like a wyvern, like a more traditional sort of wyvern.
Yeah.
But you see what? It almost looks a little bit like a Nazgul. Like not a Nazgul, but the thing a Nazgul rides in Lord of the Rings, a fell beast, I think is the common term for it. It's very cool. Right, so with that, let us crack on with the new models. So it says, of course, we couldn't possibly announce the release of 2 awesome Battletomes without showing off some of the stunning miniatures that are coming out at the same time. Let's start with the Stormcast Eternals. So we'll watch the trailer, and then we'll give you our thoughts on it. And obviously, you guys let us know in the chat while we're watching. And there we have it. So I'm going to go off this quickly, and then, we can look at these better pictures and stuff. But it just quickly says, so you need as many powerful heroes as you can get to face Kragnos, Battletomes, and the Kruleboyz. While she would gladly try, Yggdrasta can't do it on her own. Step forward, Lord Commander Bastion Karthalos, leader of the Hammers of Sigmar. So all of that, I'll be honest, I like most of that. Might be weird me saying the Stormcast, but like I say, the Soul Wars is over, of course. So, Boris, what are your thoughts on the Lord Commander?
When I first saw him, I was like, wow, they actually made a character that I don't want to put a helmet on. Like, yeah, like, holy crap.
He looks, I'll be honest. So I have 2 things about this. When I saw these models, obviously, like half an hour ago, he was definitely my favorite character that came out for the Stormcast in this video. And he still is my favorite character. The only thing that draws me back is it says he's like Hammers of Sigmar.
Yes.
Which is I'm painting my guys up as like Roman Stormcast anyway, so I can go in any sub allegiance if you like. But I just like more. It's not that I don't like named characters, but I just like it when you can take them in different sub allegiances. There's just different ways to play them. But it will be. It's a shame that he's not like a generic character. Is basically what I'm saying. But he's cool. Like I say, I can just use my Stormcast once I get them built and painted as Hammers of Sigmar. But turns out if you paint your guys in a certain sub-allegiance scheme, you're not allowed to take them in another sub-allegiance. Did you hear about that, Boris?
I saw that, where they actually officially codified it. And I was actually one of the people that was defending it, because I'm like, this has always been the case. Like, we always knew, technically speaking, what you see on your models, what you get. Technically, that's always been the rule.
I think, but it kind of then dictates you can't paint your models how you want to paint them.
It kind of does, but it puts a little caveat in there. As long as your opponent's okay. If your opponent's okay with it, it's cool. Then, and I think we all understand that Age of Sigmar is probably the least sweaty of the tabletop games. So I'm pretty sure if you bring whatever you want to the table, your opponent isn't going to go, no, I'm not playing this guy. He has this Hammer of Sigmar character, but he's in Hallowed Knights. I can't do that.
I mean, it's the best way to be a bad loser, isn't it? You lose the game, goes Yeah, I mean, you're one, but you used your hammers and Sigmars as Hallowed Knights. So really, you played with an illegal army. So like, it's just like, the least. It's like, so that I think that, all right, I'm going to say it's good for that reason. So you can play that excuse down. But we've got some people in the chat. So let me just catch up with this. I think Race was the last one. So we invest in money into gold. Good investment, only that it is plastic money into plastic gold. I mean, I can't remember how the breakdown works because I'm not a scientist, but there's something like how the oil that's made from obviously like fossil fumes and stuff is then turned into plastic and then made to use Seraphon. So your plastic dinosaurs come from real dinosaurs. So it's all funny how it works. But I don't know how
life finds a way.
Life finds a way, and investment into plastic models. Like it's like for people who don't understand Warhammer, it's kind of like, oh, so you build the models, right? Let's say you haven't done any work to them, you've literally just built them how it says in the instructions. And someone doesn't do any Warhammer, like I know, they might go, oh, so they're worth now a bit more now because you did the building for them. It's like, no, they're as soon as they open the box, they're basically a third of the value has came off. It's like when you drive a car out of a dealership, but some older models obviously hold their value. But I like your excuse, Race. I think that's I'm going to use that as well. So Edict Man is saying that they don't show the Vindicators in the trailer, so that's what makes me concerned that they won't get their own kit. So it's a good point, Edict, that you raised there, that they didn't show them a trailer, but they must, if they want them to be the new Liberators for everyone to buy, like they did with Secretors, they must make them separate at some point. But then again, like if they want everyone to buy all the new cool and expensive Slaanesh models, they would make them have good rules. So like I try not to make sense to it anymore. So you're right to have some concern as well, I'll say, because we have no idea what they'll do. Right. So Donald is now saying, is a gap between Orcs and Stormcast Battletomes August and third book October is a problem. Is it? I'll be honest, mate, I haven't read too much ahead. The reason why I said this is coming out in August is because a mate of mine told me it said that at the bottom of the article. So if it turns out that's not true, I'll change the title of this. But is it a problem? It depends what book it was, mate. Like if it's the I mean the allegiance abilities are in the box, aren't they? I haven't opened my box yet, but they're in the box. I don't.
It could be a problem.
They don't come out on the same weekend because they usually do.
Yeah, it would be kind of a problem if you launch these new rule books and it's like, oh, you need this rule book. Where can I get it? Oh, it doesn't come out till like next month. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit because so throughout second edition they released a lot of Battletomes together. So they released like the Ether War box set that had Tzeentch or Disciples of Tzeentch with against Khaldun Overlords. They had a box set come out for that, and then you could also on the same day buy the Khaldun Overlord Battletome and the Tzeentch Battletome. They did Flesh Eater Courts, Skaven, like countless others as well. They did it for I can't remember. They did it for a lot of them basically. So I'll be surprised if they don't come out at the same time, especially how they're tying them so closely together. With like model releases and stuff. So Samuel was then saying, I like generic characters more too. Lets me make whatever story for them I want. Yeah, I agree. And obviously, you can make whatever story you want for the name characters, of course, and you just say it's your own character for this reason. But there's a part of you that always knows it's a name character of Portugal. And then Katsura is saying that Vindicators and Vanquishers defo is a new kit of their own. It could well be. So going on with this, it then says, think that Hammer looks impressive. Well, he can also call down thunderbolts from his ear to obliterate his enemies. So imagine it's going to be a similar thing to what Star Drake does with meteors. Maybe worded a bit differently.
And they did say that hammer does 4 damage. Like that's a chunky hammer. Like
boom, and it's going to have.
He's going to have multiple attacks, so
probably like at least 3 attacks on that thing. It just looks like he could punch someone through like a fucking wall as well, doesn't he?
And I'm going to say my favorite pose is the one-handed walking, because that looks like John Wick. Like, he just looks like Stormcast John Wick just walking into the club. Like, everybody in here is about to get this hammer into their head. Like,
yeah, I agree. It feels like you have that motion, and it's not like, there's like that rock, isn't there? There's like that pillar with the smoke coming off.
Yeah.
He could easily have 1 foot on it, like every other character, but he chose not to.
He's walking past it. He's like, no, I got business to do.
Exactly. And it turns out he can have a helmet as well, which I'm seeing for the first time, but bare head straight away. Like you said, like the helmet's all right, but the bare head just has so much more character. And then it says, okay, so we've seen that. I mean, the cloak looks pretty, but that's all freehand.
Yeah.
So like, it's a great job to be painted, but I won't be doing that. Okay, and then it goes on. And he's not alone. So the Knights-Relictor provides support with prayers to the God King Sigmar, and they're handy with a mole. I literally forgot how you pronounce that. The part of me wanted to say mace, and that's not what that word is. A mole on the front line. So this is basically, your old Lord Relictor, typical guy. He had the skull face, he had the banner from the first original box set. This is the Knights Relictor. And the interesting thing is that he is like a weaker version of the Lord Relictor, but I wonder if he's only going to be weaker in lore terms because he is a new model. Are they going to make him like, I don't know, he might be a bit better despite technically.
Could be.
He's more of a combat variant, I think they said, and he takes more ancient artifacts, and he's got like a chest for a belt, which seems really impractical, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
And not to mention his backpack, his fancy little backpack.
Yeah, he has got a little backpack, hasn't he? Yeah. I remember when they did the spinning round, he has got a backpack. I'm just going to catch up with the chat because we had Red Minion come in. Sorry, I'm late. What new Beast of Chaos models did I miss? Well, you know what, mate? They thought Beast of Chaos deserves a release off. They've had enough lately over the last... I've been doing this for about 5-6 years now, and I haven't seen any models come out for them apart from Warbands. So Beast of Chaos, they confirmed at some point in the future they may or may not get new models. So that's interesting. That's always good to hear. And then Arnold saying, smiley face, cowboy hat. Nice to see you, mate. Glad you could join us. Hope you're enjoying all the news. And then Race is saying that the Darwi helmet, so the dwarf style helmet, smithed his armor. Yeah, so a lot of that's almost like the new sigil for Stormcast, which is interesting. Obviously a lot more closer ties to the Darwi. And then it says they have new infantry to command, of course. Vanquishers are clad in Thunderstrike armor and are armed with devastating celestial greatswords that hit exponentially hard. Very hard they hit, basically. So we then have... I don't like this model. I think that's a really weird and awkward pose. It takes me back to, if this model was in the original Hero Quest.
Yes.
That's the sort of pose. Maybe it's not hitting the nostalgia for me, but maybe people will like it because of that. But I feel like it's a bit like like those starfish poses. Not that that's a starfish pose, but that sort of.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm happy they get a sword variant for their units. And they talked about the rules a little bit where they said, the more stuff they fight, the better they get. So if you run them into a group of 20 guys, they get combat bonuses. So they're like the Horde Slayer units. The thing I want to touch on about the unique kit things we were talking about earlier is it says that they're clad in Thunderstrike armor. And they did say that if you wanted to build all of your army in Thunderstrike armor, you can do that now. So I don't know. I'm not a Stormcast Eternals.
Oh, that just means if you want an army of just the new Stormcast, you can.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can make Liberators have Thunderstrike. Basically, it's a way for them to say, "Oh, you already have 5,000 points Stormcast. Okay, well, inherently in the Legion's abilities, the Thunderstrike ones are better because they explode when they die."
Wow, I did not know that.
So I can't remember the specific rulings, and it's in our box behind me, but I'll talk about it another time. I've talked about it properly before. And basically, when a Stormcast model dies, depending on how many wounds it has, you roll a number of dice, I believe it is, and for every 6 you roll, you pick an enemy unit within 1 inch, or every enemy unit within 1 inch, something like that, takes a mortal wound on a 6.
Nice.
If you're Thunderstrike, so the new ones, it's on a 5, not a 6.
That's
straight away. It's better.
Wow. Okay. Games Workshop, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can. I mean, like, I can't remember exactly worded, but I remember if you're the new guys, it's a 5. If you're the old guys, it's a 6. So it's a way for them to try and get people with already Stormcast armies to buy the new stuff. And it'll probably work.
It'll work. It'll definitely work.
But what I'll say is that, like, I do have like quite a bit of the older Stormcast models, not built, but just because I've got them from like the Mortal Realm magazines, because it's such a good deal here in the UK. But the new Stormcast, their proportions just look so much better. It's like I mean, I'm not a 40k mad person or anything like that, but I can, or as someone who can look at it at 40k as a bit of an outsider, I can 100%, unless there's nostalgia reasons, the Primaris Marines look so much better than the old Marines.
They really do.
Like in proportioned ways. Like, their legs are long. Yeah, like that's so. As someone who's a bit of an outsider to the Stormcast, I can also say that, and also this is obviously my personal opinion, that the proportions look better. But as you say that as well, Boris, and as everyone else I've met and talked about the new Stormcast with said they prefer the proportions of the new Stormcast, it shows that they're probably going to be quite popular amongst the Stormcast community, probably. And also, like, the unit banners, like we're seeing a lot of this going with the totems, which I think is cool. And
I like the little hornblower guy. I think that model's pretty cool.
And then I quite like the options of the bear heads as well, because let's not forget, Stormcast in first edition, you could see through artwork that they did have bodies, but quite like you needed to look into to find out if Stormcasts actually had bodies or if they were just like hallowed armor.
Yeah, there's a bunch of YouTube videos out there of people answering basic questions, and one of them is, are Stormcasts just metal men or are they people? It's like, no, they're actually people. Like,
yeah,
they're guys in armor.
And now they're doing like a lot of these faceless helms to try and show that. But yeah, I think these are quite cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit like, and I also just want to interrupt myself again by just saying with their heads, I like it that they're not all like, young chaps in their 20s and stuff. It is, mixed gender, and then we also have, older looking Stormcasts, and so I like that diversity. I just want to say with the swords as well, it kind of feels like I haven't obviously seen the rules for these guys, but the Lumineth get like a sword fight in sword masters, and then the Stormcast like, yep, these are our ones. The sword is probably about as tall as the Lumineth.
It really is.
If not taller. It's probably as tall as the Stormcast, to be fair. So I like, it's just, oh, you think your sword's good? Well, this is a bigger sword. So yeah, they're cool. So then going on to the next thing, says Judicators and Vanguard Raptors are already excellent range specialists, but Sigmar heard the prayers of the generals who want even more top quality archers in their ranks and forge ranks of Vigilors. How are we pronouncing that?
I believe it's Vigilors.
Vigilors, yeah, that rolls off the tongue a lot easier. Vigilors, to bolster the back line. Now these are again. Let us know. There's about a bunch of catching up I need to do in the chat. That's fine. I'll get to in a second. But let us know as well what your favourite unit is from the Stormcast that we've seen so far. In terms of the actual like a unit, a multi-modelled unit, these are, just remind myself the name. Vigilors are my favourite ones.
Yes,
they look awesome.
They are the best of the new models, in my opinion, that they showed today. This is grade A. This is
because I think it's quite hard to get that look, isn't it? Where they're obviously like a ranger-looking unit rather than Judicators who stand and shoot, or the long strike crossbows that are like snipers. Yeah. These look like like rangers, like sort of they're in the wild a little bit, but they still have heavy armor. Like it's probably quite hard to get that look right, and I think they've done that pretty well.
That's what I was also saying when I saw them. I was like, wow, they still have the plate mail. Like, they still look like Stormcast, but they have really good cloaks. And I love how they animate the cloaks, like, over their knees, like the wind is blowing it over them.
Yeah, they always remind me, like, the cloaks for Namati Reavers, Idneth Dibkin, that infantry unit. When I saw them, that's the first first archer unit. I was like, they look so dynamic of how they're like running around, they're not just standing and shooting. And I think they've done that a good job here as well, these guys. So yeah, like hats off to them. I think it's really cool. Like should have the one that's painted next to me, but I don't have the unpainted ones. But like I've really been enjoying these like Vanguard Raptors because I think they have quite a bit of movement and stuff in them. Like,
I love the Vanguard Raptors.
Yeah, like, I think they're really, really cool, and that's also why I think I like these as well, because they have that sort of range. Probably is a better word than ranger, like auxiliary feel to them.
Yeah, like they don't feel. I mean, they don't feel like they're supposed to be frontline troops. Like these are the guys. Like these are bringing up the rear. They're skirmishing out in front. Like,
and their bows are big. Like that's probably a bow that's about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, that's a big bow.
That is big. Right, and then on to the next thing. Before we do that, we will go in the chat and stuff, just so I can hear what you guys want to say. And then Red is saying, laugh my arse out. He's the person who said, he's the person who's saying about Beast of Chaos, saying that, thank you for reading my comment, just made my day here. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Honestly, I'm always here for love for Beast of Chaos. That's why I put 10 hours and 43 minutes and 21 seconds into them, because they really deserve that love. And I am planning on having Beast of Chaos conversations in not too long. Within the next few weeks, hopefully, we'll get a video out for Beast of Chaos talking about them in the new edition.
I love the idea of Beast of Chaos. I just wish they had new models. Like, come on, Games Workshop.
Yes, and as much as I enjoy all the Stormcast stuff, and as much as I'm saying I think it's cool, I'm glad it's coming out. Obviously, I would have rather Beast of Chaos get the love, but Games Workshop don't really listen to anyone, and they certainly won't listen to me. So Arnold is saying that he is just teething his own horn. So that is the horn guy. Where is it? We'll just get him up quickly. Yeah, he's I think he's an interesting one. But we got him, and then we got Nate saying that, hey peeps, hey mate, hope you're doing well. Let us know what you think about everything we've seen today. And then Arnold is saying, or she is, because it turns out it can be quite hard to tell in the Stormcast community.
It can.
You have to often ask people to remove their helmets so you don't make a mistake. But then Arnold is saying hi to Nate, and then what have we got? So Elic is saying give you an extra dice on the death explosion. So it's an extra
chance. That's even better.
Yeah. I mean, so that's it shows that they want you to do the new stuff. And then Ray said, and the Thunderstrike, they can come down in 9 inches within a Lord Imperator easy charge. So that when they come down that 9-inch, right? Remember a lot of Stormcast when they come down has to be 9 inches away.
Yeah, that's
it's
7.
Yeah, 7 and 7 9.
That is.
That is nice. A lot of armies would kill for that. I love that with my Blood Knights. And then Race is saying that's the real Stormcast Eternal power creep. It is, mate, but they seem to. I mean, I know Stormcast players who actually gave up on the Stormcast army because they said we've had a break of 3 years, right? No new models. So Stormcasts have been all right in that sense of like they haven't been getting new models all the time. But back when they were getting new models every year, I had people who dropped their army because they said like I bought all the Liberators and Judicators, and now all the new stuff is better, so I have to buy all that. And then I bought all the new stuff, and then the newer ones came out, and they're better than the second to new ones came out. So I had to drop all my new ones and then get the newer ones. And then it was just like this endless game of catch up. Over the last 3 years, I think Stormcast players are glad they've had that break. So what I was trying to say is that it may seem good for Stormcast players, so there's like power creeps and stuff, but it's just as annoying for them to have to keep on buying new models. And then Katz is saying that the Archers and the Predators will be the same kit. Predators, that's it. Will be the same kit, same lovely cloaks. It's a good point. It could be, yeah. Let's have a.
I'll say, where are the Praetors?
Praetor, is that the? Which ones are the Praetors? I was thinking that's the Swords one. Maybe.
Nope, those are the Vanquishers. I think the Praetors are the Spear guys.
Maybe.
Is that who they are?
I'm not too sure. So let us know what that is, Katsura. And then Elic is saying that I am super excited for the Vigilors, and they look so good. And I hope I can do them justice when I get my hands on them. they give me a real Stormcast Vanguard feel. Yeah, they really do, don't they? Which is why I think they're really fun. And they also have that Roman Greek aesthetic. I don't know if it's in the face helmet and stuff. They just look like really, really cool.
And their rules are really cool too.
Do we know the rules of them?
They brought it up. They said basically if they do damage to a unit, other Stormcast units will do more. Like I think they said like it'll like buff their ability to do damage to them. So basically like marking targets.
So have you ever gone against a Star Drake, Boris?
I have not ever went against a Star Drake.
So Star Drake, if you take this is what I used to do 3-4 years ago. So I presume it's the same. You can give the guy on it a bow.
Yeah.
And when he shoots you, if he hits you, it's like the bow was like a flare. So then your other units are +1 to hit you. So these might have something similar.
So it's almost like marker lights from Tau in 40k.
Yeah, something like that. Because obviously, I think that especially like on a you don't really come across it because it's on a big dragon. But on an actual standardized unit, that could be quite interesting. And then we've got. Just trying to catch up with the chat. So we've got Nate as well saying, well, the Stormcasts are much nicer Primaris models, but the lore is so meh and very vanilla. The Kruleboyz have so much character, but super busy models, and some monsters are a bit derpy looking. So I have to say that I really like the Kruleboyz monsters. And I think you mean like a bit. I know where you're coming from. Like it's a bit cartoony, a bit of fun, but that's like orcs and goblins for you. And then with the Stormcast being vanilla, I mean, you know me, I'm the first one to say I hate Stormcasts, even that now I have to not really say that anymore. I think the Stormcasts, if you don't really look into them too much, they do seem a bit like, they're maybe the good guys. And they're boring. But if you look at the, I can't remember the name of them, but the ones in white armor, blue shoulder pads, they will kill everyone that could potentially be corrupted by chaos. So let's say there's a village and there's one child that's fallen to chaos in this village. They will kill the entire village, and then they will kill the next 10 surrounding villages just to be safe. They are like the Inquisition of the Stormcast. And it's like, so they kill loads of innocents. So they are a bit more deeper than you think. But at first, I thought they were pretty boring. So there's that, and then obviously come with your own lore. There's certainly loads of books of them in there. And then Nate is saying also that worried as the new faction, they'll get the Nighthaunt treatment and be a bit shite. So this is, it's a true point. So as we had going to like the army to come with Stormcast, like we had in the Soul Wars, we had the Nighthaunt. They're not, and I know Nate doesn't mean that Nighthaunt are just shit. They're not.
They're not. They're okay.
They're not the best. They are the middle tier, the fat middle as we call it. And I think they might have got a little bit better in 3rd edition. But with that aside, in my 2nd edition hat on, they're not above the middle of the middle. Like if anything, maybe they're a little bit below. Like so. Yeah, I do see where you come from, but I haven't seen the rules of the Kruleboyz. I haven't even opened up the box yet, so I don't want to say anything without the correct information.
From what I understand, the Kruleboyz are a more finesse version of the Orruks, where they're going to be way more control-y type than Ironjaw's just want to
charge.
Like
punch,
hit face. And what I was going to say about the Nighthaunt is, it's a little bit of an aside, is it really feels to me that Games Workshop really just doesn't like Grand Alliance Death, because everything's now in that fat middle. There is no Death army that's like A tier above. Like they're all in that fat middle or worse. Coming in the 3rd edition.
I think the A tier is again, things might change in 3rd edition, but like from my experience, I always call it like the top 5 armies, which in my opinion, in no specific order, but along the lines of Iron Deepkin, Seraphon, Daughters of Cain, Luminous Realm Lords, Zinch, and
KO. I mean, they got worse, but I mean, they're still
and KO, and there might be another one. But the thing is, like those sort of armies, Games Workshop's made it clear that it's not going to bring every army up to that point. So because it's not going to make every army as strong as the top 5 armies, I'm much happier to see the top 5 armies not always be a thing. So the fat middle, as we call it, that's my favorite way to play Age of Sigmar. They're the best games. And what was the point of, I can't remember, but I can't remember what the topic was. But the there's going to be more finesse to the Kruleboyz. We're talking about death, weren't we? OBR got punched in the dick. But, a good guy I know, Alex Tubbs, who was in the Discord earlier, and he was talking about it. He knows someone who's had a few games with OBR with the 3rd edition rules, and they've done well. So that's encouraging, and I do trust pretty much everything that Alex has to say about the competitive scene, because he knows
I do too. I love Alex. Alex is a great resource. It's just I look at the bear-based rules. It's like, you have this one terrain feature that basically makes your army go, and monsters can now destroy terrain features. Like, that's a nasty combo. Like,
there's lots. I mean, but I'd say that all of the death armies in different highs and lows fit in the fat middle, and like I say, that's where the game should be. So death is again a leading example of how things should be in Age of Sigmar.
Balance in all things.
Exactly, all things are Nagash. So then we have Decimus saying that will there still be a reason to take Retributors / Judicators over the new Primaris variant? That for me makes the difference between money milking and a good Battletome. I mean, without reading the Battletome, all I can tell you is that probably the new stuff is going to make it so if obviously take whatever models you want, but if you're looking at it as competitively, what is best points for points, probably the new stuff is going to make it so you don't want to take your Retributors and you don't want to take your Judicators. Don't want to lie to you. And that's probably completely the point, to milk for money. But that's probably what it is going to be. But I could be wrong. But Games Workshop has much more of a want for you to get the new stuff than play with your old models. So they probably will change. Like generically, like we said, when they explode, when they die, the new models do better than the old models, unfortunately.
Now, what they could do is they could reduce the price on the old models, points wise, not dollars wise.
I was going to say, laugh you said that.
Drop the old models price wise, points wise, so that these are better, but maybe these guys are more efficient point wise. Like, okay, you can spend more points getting the bigger, more elite stuff, or you can go into the more vanilla stuff.
I agree. And the thing is, though, this comes into the conversation of now, are they just going to try and get us by money milking to buy the new stuff because the new stuff is better in rules? Is that what's going to happen? And in my opinion, how I'm talking about it is yes, that's what's going to happen. But like I already mentioned in this video, why are all the Slaanesh new models shit in the rules? Like, that doesn't make any sense. They want to sell the new Slaanesh model. So, it's really hard to compare the
like, hey guys, we're going to come out with these Miradesh Painbringers, and they look amazing.
Yeah,
they're going to be completely worthless. You're not going to want to take them. Like, why did you make them? Like,
so there's examples of I'm the first one to say if Games Workshop is trying to rip people off for money, because that's generally their purpose.
They're a company. They're
a company, and a very greedy company at that. But it's hard to always say they're trying to do that, because then they do things like the Slaanesh release. So we'll have to see. But moving on with this stuff, we then have Elix Man saying that the Praetors are the 3-man unit that binds themselves to one of your heroes and helps them shrug damage with the 1-inch halberds. Do you remember? So the Dominion box set, the 3 Stormcast you get with halberds?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the unit he's talking about. That said, that could be the same as
these guys.
Could. I mean, I'm not really too sure, but would be quite interesting is if they did do that and then didn't show us the halberd variant of these guys until 2 weeks before release, as it's kind of done as a surprise. But could be interesting. So there's that. And then Knight Excelsiors. So that was the Stormcast that butcher loads of innocents because one of them might be corrupt. So that's really cool. Like, I'll be honest, if I didn't paint my Slaanesh as already being white armored and didn't already commit myself to years of torture by doing that, I would have painted my Stormcast as Knight of Celsius because the law's so cool. And then we've got Arnold saying that greenskins, bring on the good stuff. We're getting there. Don't worry, I don't like these guys.
Sorry, we keep going off on tangents.
It's how it happens. I said to Boris, first time doing a video, I said, mate, like I say this will be 20 minutes, or at least can you commit yourself to an hour? And it's like, yes. I'm like, we're going to be more than that right now. But don't worry, I don't really like these guys, so we won't talk about them for long. And then we've got Ray saying Soulblight Gravelords with Blood Knights can be powerful. I think I agree. Like I
definitely.
I really like the Soulblight Gravelord Battletome. I really like it. So, like, it's not like I will have a conversation and defend them for ages and why I love that Battletome. It's not like I will, because I already have, like, 3 times in videos that go on for about 2-3 hours. So then we have Katsura saying, Dominius. He's responding to him saying that Liberators are way cheaper than any of the other battle lines. They will probably still see a bunch of use. So that's interesting. And then Matthew is saying that rest in peace, old Stormcast Warrior Chamber. And what I'd say is that old Stormcast Warrior Chamber the start collecting box is fantastic value when I reviewed it and how to start collecting Stormcast. So, well, probably see some use. I mean, my old brain of playing Age of Sigmar before there was points, I will fight to the death to say that a Lord Celestin on Dracov is massively overpowered. And I'll admit, probably isn't anymore, and it's probably the wrong opinion. But because of that one time when I fought against it without points, stupid.
They are really strong.
It was really it turned like, because it's like 7 wounds or something, right? So how you used to play points was you did it with wounds sometimes. So like that 7 wound Dracov guy was the same as 7 zombies. Today.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a fun time. And then we have Nate saying that so on the Jones Handbook, the Vindicators are cheaper than Judicators. Battletome will obviously change, but it looks like the incentive to get new models. So yeah, this is what it seems like. But then it says Heed Knights weren't awful on launch, just fucked with points and the FAQ. But they weren't great though, were they? Like
they weren't.
I mean, like, so there's different conversations, isn't it? But Heed Knights of Slaanesh massively suffered for when all the demon models came out, when they got an update about 2.5 years ago now, when they were just obnoxiously overpowered, and unfortunately every other thing about Slaanesh since then has had to pay for the sins of their fathers. And then Nate is saying they read it wrong. They read the wrong bloody silly names. Judicators are 95 points and the Vindicators are 100 points. So there we go. But yeah, Stormcast, like honestly, like I did a post about 3 years ago on Facebook, and I said, if you died and went to heaven, and the only way to, or if you died and went to Azir in the mortal realms, the only way to go into Azir was by able to, without referring to any notes, remember every single name for the Stormcast Eternal units. Would you make it through into Azir, or would you basically accept that you're going to go back down to the mortal realms, get buried in Shaiish, and get eaten by a zombie? And most people are being eaten by zombies. And there's been a hell of a lot of new names since then. Right, we've got the Chunky Boys. I think I prefer them with sledgehammers, but the shields are cool. But I just feel like they're a bit too chunky. I think they look like someone getting Minecraft. But maybe that's because they don't really look that dynamic when they look like this. But give them a sledgehammer and they're swinging it in the air, they look a lot more dynamic.
Yeah.
So maybe I think this looks better than what we've seen in the Dominion box set. But maybe when I build and paint them, that would change my mind.
And these, sorry, I was going to ask, are these the guys with the cool lion and bear head armor for the leaders? I'm pretty sure they are.
Oh, I don't know. These are the pictures we've got, Boris.
Was it? There it is. There it is. Bear head. And he's also got it on his little leg piece. He's got a little bear head on his greave, as it's called.
Oh yeah,
on his right leg.
That's cool. I like it. I prefer the sledgehammer guys, and it's not like oh, I hate these models. It's just my least favorite out of them. But I think sledgehammers are quite cool. it must be the pose though, because like the sledgehammer, like they look cool, the sledgehammers. But I think that shield looks amazing. So surely I'd prefer the shield ones, but I think it's just the pose of the shield ones. Like this guy looks like I thought an example. I can't really say it on Facebook. I can't really say it on YouTube. But it looks like he has been presented with a very scary situation, and his response to it is, being all frightened and scared and crawling up in a corner. So, right, it then says, if you absolutely have to turn everything that you're facing into a fine paste, these hefty weapons are the way to go. But what's more, with these reinforcements in place, you can create an all Thunderstrike army should you choose. The Eliminator's fine armor and the bludgeoning expertise will prove useful when they face off against the monstrous reinforcements coming to the Orruk Warclans. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to the more exciting part, I am going to call it. I mean, like I said, the Stormcast is probably mainly what I'm going to focus on first, but the Kruleboyz stuff looks really cool. And I just went past it all, so we'll get to that in a second. But let us watch the trailer, and then we'll talk about it after. And there we go. So, Boris, as someone whose favourite army out of these two is the Kruleboyz, what are your thoughts?
I'll put it to you this way: when the Kruleboyz first got hinted at, I was like, "Oh, those are really cool models." And then this came out, I was like, I might actually have to go for the Kruleboyz. Like, I can't say no to the giant alligator sloth monster. Like, how do you play it?
I mean, how do you? And I mean, it's probably even harder to say no to it if it's facing down on you, isn't it? Like, this is. I'm trying to. That's what it's reminded me of, and I'm trying to think like what it reminds me of something, and I think there's something else beyond this, but it reminds me of like. Did you ever watch like a program called Dark Crystal or the Dark Crystal or anything like that? No. Okay. Did you ever watch anything called Labyrinth?
Nope. I've heard of it though.
Well, basically, it's that sort of like they're children kind of programs, but it's like puppets and stuff.
Okay.
And it sort of has like that sort of like cruel, like if you imagine like a bad guy from one of those sort of programs.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it reminds me of. You know, it's very sort of like cruel looking. There's definitely something else that this. What's this? This is going like really sort of like of my sort of childhood like programs. But there was something I watched when I was a kid called Flight of Dragons, and I don't know if that probably no one knows what that is. But there might have been. There's basically a big bad monster out of some sort of cartoon I watched when I was younger that looks a little bit like this creature, and that is why I love it. And that is my answer. Shall we read what it says about it?
Go ahead.
First up, it's the Swampboss Skomdrek. So he's a legend among the Kruleboyz, not only for his abilities as a mighty warrior, but also for the fact that he's been known to gamble on the outcomes of Sorry, I'm just really lost in trying to think of whatever monster that is from a childhood. But basically, big bad boss on a monster. He's not known as the leader of the Kruleboyz, because then if they say he's the leader, then they can never bring out a leader, and they're all diverted into different clans. But he is like one of the big bad known ones, and that just how like so I'm struggling to describe how much I like this, in terms of positivity, because I really, really do like it.
But it's got so much going on. Like
it's like that's that sloth sort of feel, isn't it? And not like, like sloths in our world, but like a sloth from, I don't know, 300,000 years ago or something.
Yeah, like the gargantuan sloths.
Yeah, like that.
I love its claw, like how it's got like its middle finger raised, and oh man, like all I can say is I don't want to live in the swamp wherever that comes from. Wherever this thing lives, I don't want to be anywhere near that place. Like
no, not at all. Not at all. Right, so I'm gonna go off topic here, so I do apologize to everyone. But he's going to try and
he's going to find his bad guy. He's like,
this guy's a good guy. So but yeah, I'm thinking of the Netflix one, Samuel. But I do apologize to the 40 odd people watching this, and this is definitely not what they clicked on this video for. But I want to try and get up. So we've got this. Is there a? Where is he? There was like a ninja looking one. This is not how. Where is he? And I don't even think this is what I'm thinking of. I think, was this the chap? He looks a little bit. No, I don't think this was like the main one I was thinking of. But right, we're gonna have to get to all that later. Apologies about that, but it was very important to me, and as this is my channel, I'll show you what the fuck I want. So
yeah, you're the boss.
Right, I do want to. Okay, we've got that as well. Right, okay, it's all so much, so excited. I just want to read through the chat to see if any of it has tried to help me out of what I thought this monster is. But that is amazing. Going back to Edict Manson, one thing I love about the Eliminators, so going back to Stormcast with two-handed hammers, is that now you don't have to pay a premium for the 2+ save, only to get dumpstered by mortal wounds. Now you pay for more damage. Completely agree, because I did feel like those guys were definitely going to melt to mortal wounds. It's like, they're impenetrable in their saves. It's like, yes, but mortal wounds, they haven't got any save against that. And then Edict Man is saying that, so continue, which is good for a unit for a unit that just wants to drop in and charge. Agreed. I think that's a good point you make there. And the Slothman is saying, I guess Primaris fiction of the Stormcast is official. It does seem like it. And then we've got Brick in the Head saying, you are so right. So I presume that's on how much I like. Reminds me of the Black Crystal too. Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Someone else gets it.
Yeah, I think.
Now we're back on this. Now it's like we gotta find out who this guy is.
If anyone's interested in finding out what creature this reminds me of my childhood from sort of cartoon that would have came out in the 80s/90s, join the Discord. I will open up a channel server within my own Discord, and it can just be called trying to find out what this reminds Age of Nagash of, because this thing it's hitting all the marks, and I can't remember the name. And then Sam was saying, do you mean, I do mean the Dark Crystal, but obviously there was the older one as well. And then Nate is saying Flight of Dragons was amazing. So Nate, you have became one of my favorite members now on Age of Nagash for saying that. That's amazing. He says James Ellis Jones, best voice acting. Yeah, that Flight of Dragons was, if there's anyone else here who remembers Flight of Dragons, that was incredible. It was probably, if you were an adult, it wasn't as good. It was, if you like dragons and you were a kid, how old are you, Boris? You don't mind
I'm 30. What is it? Yeah, I turned 31 in a month, so I'm 30 right now.
So I'll be honest, you haven't seen it, but it probably would have came out same sort of time for you as well. But I'm turning 26 next month, and I think it was around before my brothers, who are 6 years older than me. So it's so the video we had of it served around. But anyway, on to this. Flight of Dragons is incredible. So Brick in the Head is saying they're very puppety in the best way possible. Agreed. Yes. And saying, it looks like the Skeekers. I don't know why I've forgotten it, but it's the evil people from Dark Crystal, the crow-looking guys. And then all Sloth, and then Slothman is saying So Slothman, obviously, he's very happy with this, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
in Age of Orruk is over. Age of the Sloth has begun. Agreed.
It has.
And then Arnold is saying, I know what you mean. He is from Dark Crystal. Yes. I love it that loads of people are getting this. And then Stuart is saying, Flight of Dragons was a favourite movie. Still is. I feel you, brother. It's. I would get up to play the intros, but number one, I don't think the 50-odd people who are watching this are probably here to see the Flight of Dragons trailer. And number two, this video will be demonetized. But I've just found out this video is already being demonetized, and that's probably because I mentioned Amazon 3 times. But so Arnold is then saying, "Can you see that link?" Sorry, I'll go up one case. Midwinter Minis referred Flight of Dragons latest video. That's awesome. And can you see that link? I can't, mate. In case you posted the link in this. And then Skeecies, don't know why I can't pronounce them. I haven't seen the program for a while. It's the Lord of Change. He is. And it was Jabberwock. Okay, so here we go. Sorry for the diversion. Was needed. Boris, make sure it doesn't happen again.
boss.
But this thing looks incredible. And I'll go back to, I think it was Nate who said it. Some of them look a bit derpy. I think mainly on the next one. I'm not as someone who loves this, and not someone who goes, don't use that word derpy. Don't ruin it for me. It does have that kind of derpy feel. I feel like that's very Orcs and Goblins. Do you sort of see?
Yes,
it's
it's very old school fantasy where things have really weird proportions and they're lanky.
I know what that thing reminds me of. Oh, right. Okay, so this might be something. Sorry,
I'm supposed to stop you from doing this.
Right, sorry. But it's like an illustration. So, if any of you guys have heard of the Spiderwick Chronicles, I don't know if that's something any of you guys have heard of.
I've not heard of it.
Cool, fantastic. I like it how you're not getting any of these references.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I like it that you're along for the ride.
Hey, I'm willing to go down the rabbit hole.
This is what it reminds me of because it's a river troll. So can you guys? Because this is what it reminds me of. So this is something that came out. Okay, I'll Google that, Arnold. But this is what came out in the when I was a kid. There was there's a book series called the Spiderwick Chronicles, and this was the river troll from it. And can you see that, Boris?
It looks like a gray pictures. It's not loading anything. It might be on my end, but there it goes. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Okay.
Do you see how? Because that kind of looks like, doesn't it?
Yes, it does with the long finger. But it's that same thing. It's lanky and weird and
yeah, that's where it came from. That's the but I do think it's heavily influenced by Flight of Dragon and Dark Crystal. Maybe that all came to a combination. In my head, it must have done. It must have done. Anyway, sorry for that, everyone. That diversion. But I am just going to quickly Google as well what Arnold was telling me about
the Jabberwock.
Yeah, the Jabberwock. Great name. A Jabberwocky we've got. Again, if you guys are an hour and so into this, you already know what it's to. So the Jabberwock. Jabberwock Island.
I looked up the images. And it does.
Yeah, this looks a little bit like it. What's this in? It's this picture looks familiar. I'm trying to remember. It looks like something from my childhood that probably gave me nightmares. There's the answer. But it's a combination of all these things.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we are. It looks amazing.
Hello, everybody. We are live. Well,
it's replayed that, hasn't it? Go away. You've done your. Oh no, I don't want to subscribe. This is going terribly wrong.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem. Right, let's see what they have to say about it. So, also, thank you to everyone in the chat who was trying to help me out of what this thing was. I do appreciate all that. So, we're not sure about you, but if we saw a Scumdrek and his terrifying Sludge Raker beast.
Brilliant name.
We know who we'd bet on. Like this bit, it's amazing, isn't it? Because it's kind of like dragon, sloth, troll. I don't want this just to turn into guessing what animals it's made out of, because I know that's what the last 20 minutes would be. It says, the kit alternatively makes a snatch boss on Sludge Raker beast if you want to give the Scumdrek a friend to ride into battle. So like normally, like you see the the name character, and you think, oh, that looks really cool and everything. Then you see the generic one, and go, it doesn't look as cool, but you take the generic one because it's just better in the rules.
Yep.
Like the named one looks awesome, but the generic one looks pretty cool as well. Like the thing has a helmet. I actually think I prefer the head of the generic one, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder if you can put the. I don't see why you wouldn't, but could you put the helmet on the non-named version?
Yeah, you could do what you want. Like, well, this is the named version, right?
Yep, that's the boss guy,
and then this is the non-boss guy, and it's got a helmet.
Oh yeah, so there you go.
It's a slightly different helmet. Like the boss's one isn't covering his eyes, I don't think.
Well, it's also the other side of the model too, so it might be the same helmet, but you're looking at the other side.
That's true. Yeah, it's exactly the same head. But yeah, so there we are. But the generic one does look pretty cool. And they said that this orc, it's a big orc. So this monster is pretty.
Yeah, like
it might be. Also, looks like it. The model might look quite front heavy. Is all I'm going to say, because a lot of the back of the base is taken up for the tail. But this, I'm trying to think, like if that's like a Star Drake base, this thing's huge. But we'll see if it is that big.
I mean, this thing's going to be massive. It's a centerpiece. I mean, this is going to be the centerpiece for the Kruleboyz. Is like,
which is great because like it's even if. Like I'm just trying to think of competitiveness. Like even if no monsters are better now generally, but even if taking a big scary monster is not the best thing to do in your army. Most people, I would say, have, let's say in a 2,000 point army, they have a monster, a behemoth, because they want that cool centerpiece. Like,
exactly.
I think that overrides people's need to spam something or whatever. But no, this thing looks incredible. Really, really like it. And it says the Snatch bosses are experts at scooping up prize captors in the heat of battle. Getting dragged into the swamp could really put a dent in your plans for a Dawnbringer crusade. Then says that's not the only giant beastie joining the ranks of the Orruk Warclans. There's also the more crawler. So not More Crusher, but Marsh Crawler.
The Marsh Crawler, yeah.
The Marsh Crawler Slogoth, which is like a Trolloth, but a bit different. So for when your grots need to arrive in style. So this thing, I mean, this
is just amazing grots. Like the little guy with the drum up there, they've got the little nets and hooks, and then you got whatever the heck that thing is. Like, oh my god, that is terrifying.
Slogoth. It's like it's grots at their best, isn't it? They're doing what they love. And the other thing I like about it is how they described it on the preview.
Yes.
They imagine you thought that was just a barge and they were using these poles just to paddles to push this thing along, and it comes towards you. You think, oh, it's just 3 grots. I might be able to take them. And then this thing comes out of the swamp. When the water, at the
bank. Like you're just like, oh, never mind. It's not just 3 grots. Like, okay.
And then the next thing you're thinking is, I wonder how fast that thing can run.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like really scary, isn't it? And it also reminds me, like everyone keeps saying, like, and I've done as well, saying like, there's a connection here between. It feels like the Orcs of Warhammer sort of cross with like Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
This also reminds me of the thing from, probably going to get the Lord of the Rings lore wrong here, but like the Easterlings or the Harad have like this like rhino sort of creature.
Oh, the big elephants?
Not the elephants. There's like something a bit, Lord of the Rings Return of the King?
Yes.
What's his name? Gonna get this wrong as well. It's not Grom, is it? The massive battering ram that breaks into the Minas Tirith?
Yes.
It's pulled by these like rhino creatures.
Yep.
So they've actually got a model of that, but with a
howdah is what it's called.
Is that what it is?
It's called a howdah. Well,
sorry.
What I'm talking about is it's not the monster is called a Howdah. It's the thing on their back. That thing on their back is called a Howdah.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, that's the word I was trying to find. So, like a Howdah on one of those, and this kind of feels like an orc and goblin sort of like a sort of twist on it, which is I really like that, and I really want to know in their allegiance abilities. I really hope they're going to be doing something along the lines of, what do they do with all these captors? Is it just there for lore purposes? Because it's so heavily influencing their weapons. I would like it if they could. There's something in the game that allows them to do with like capturing models. If these guys can like just like across the army across like these big things, they can easily just pluck models out of units to get rid of like unit champions to stop them doing abilities.
From what they said, they were kind of hinting at that these guys are more just picking up generic infantry, but the big guy, the big boy, the boss guy, he specializes in taking characters. So I'm thinking like Teclis, like I'm imagine this guy's walking up to Teclis like, oh look, you look pretty, bloop, and just throw him in the back. Like
that would be amazing. What I'd say is, I doubt it's going to do that. But would be
really cool.
He killed a 16 wound model. How many wounds Teclis is? But I reckon he could this one like infantry. This guy maybe it's one of those things you roll dice equal beat the wound caster, so it could take out like a 5 wound hero or something. Because I reckon he could be a 5 wound hero in that cage.
The one guy, the Sons of Behemoth model, the one giant, he can pick people up and stuff them in his bag, right? And take units out of the model. So like, it could be something similar to that, where it's like these guys roll up and it's like, oh, you have that unit captain right there? Yoink, let me pull that guy out. Now you can't cast abilities. Ha ha.
Can't do abilities. Your opponent was banking on doing Inspiring Presence. Now they can't because the guy's gone. Or like, oh no, your coherency is broken, especially with the new coherency rules. Plucking models out is so like more damaging.
And that goes into the whole finesse thing with them, where it's like they're more about like, hey, I'm going to make it to where you can't cast abilities, or I'm going to screw your coherency up and maybe kill more. Like,
yeah, like a big fan of this. So
yes,
it's cool. Right, just want to catch up with the chat so I don't forget, because there has been a fair few things. So Wiggy Whooty was saying this became a completely different stream than I tuned into, but it is quite entertaining. I love the dedication to find your answer. Well, thank you very much. That was trying to find out what this creature was, and I think it's a combination of things that have added up to that. But glad you stick around for the ride, Wiggy, on that one. And then Nate is saying Slotherdile. Yeah, that's because it's a crocodile as well. Like, that's another thing, isn't it?
It's like an alligator crocodile thing. Like,
where in America are you, Boris?
I'm in West Virginia, but I've been all over the place. I've been mostly the South.
Because so you might know. I was gonna say I'm not going to ask you if they are there. I'm going to ask you how many of these things have you seen in Florida? Right, you just imagine that coming out of the swamp.
I mean, if you went to the Okefenokee Swamp, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these things crawled out. Like
crawled out with also with an Orruk on top of it.
Yeah, with an Orruk on top of it.
Yeah, you don't go wandering around there. You end up one of the cages. But I remember when I went to South Carolina once, and it was incredible. It's just like one of the things is it'll be really cool to see like an alligator or a crocodile, whatever the correct term is you have there.
Yep.
And it's like it'd be really cool. And it's like open the front door, walk 10 yards, 10 meters over there, and you'll see one.
Yep.
In the pond. But sorry, go back to this though. I mean, different angles as well. So here, I think it looks more sort of derpy, if we use that term. And then here, that looks really scary. Like, like the second picture of the
like,
Swampboss. Like that. Oh, that looks. And there's did we know there's a? Now we can see the proper drum now. This guy, he's having a great time, isn't he?
Yeah, that doesn't look. Ooh.
Oh, I mean, if you're the Grotch riding this, you want to make sure that his handcuffs are pretty tight, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you wouldn't want him just breaking loose. I was going to say he reminds me of the ghouls from The Witcher.
Yeah, he does that.
If you ever play The Witcher 3, like that's what that looks like. It looks like a ghoul.
Because it's kind of like how it's having to walk as well, isn't it?
Yeah, where it's like you could tell it's supposed to be bipedal, but it's definitely just
It's definitely also forced to be
Yeah, like I have to walk on all fours.
Yeah. Oh, but that's not even chained together. It's
not. So
they are just riding their luck and hope that this thing goes, well, my food is 50 meters in front of me or my food is on my back. Like one of the two. Because if he stands up, these guys are gone. Unless
they're just gonna go flying.
Oh, do you know what I think what I would have loved? If they had like one grot on like a foot-long chain chained onto the side of this with like a mini crossbow. So it kind of reminds me of the Cowden Overlords, you know, the balloon guys and they hang on to their grips. But this is like their own little version of it.
Or what would have been really hilarious if he had like a leash and it was just like dragging this grot behind him, just like, like he's like trying to dig his heels in.
That'd be great. I really like this thing. Right, sorry, back to the chat because I was reading stuff out. And then we got Edic Man saying it's definitely got some hippo in it. It's got every animal in the animal kingdom in these creatures. But yeah, it does. It's got where are we? Like it's got not the one with closed teeth, but the one with the open that's like got the big teeth and stuff.
Yeah,
it does make it feel like it's got that hippo. And then Rickard was saying that. So replying to about the derpiness. When the Kruleboyz themselves are so much less cartoony, it's nice to have it in the monsters more than personality. Agree, yeah. So it's like a different spin on it, if you will, with that. Because obviously, if you want a comical cartooniness, in your destruction army, I'd say Gloomspite gets are probably your best.
That's it. Like that's the funny boys.
I remember going against someone's Mangler Squig, and one of them was painted red, and the other one on the bottom was yellow. And I was like, "Why are they painted red and yellow?" And he goes, "Oh, because it's ketchup and mustard." And I'm just like, "Brilliant." I'm already. And then you look at the rest of his armies, and the entire squigs are painted in. One's red, the next one's yellow. One's red, the next one. It's like, yeah, this is brilliant. It's like, what I can't remember what he called it, but I was like, what's the name of your army? It's like a day out at the fair, and I'm like, this is great. Like a fun fair.
That's amazing. I love how people tie their paint jobs into some type of meme or story.
Yeah, it's. I think you really do see it with destruction, which is like really cool. So then we got Ray saying that somehow I get Fury Roads vibes from the grots. I mean, I think Fury Road's got it easy. I mean, at least that's kind of a road. This thing is like in the middle of a swamp, isn't it? But no, I do get you. It's like a sort of like mishmash of metal, kind of post-apocalyptic sort of vibe. So yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Lots of scrap.
Yeah, exactly, and scraps and fighting as well. And then we've got Nate saying that it looks like Dobby. So this is the alternative version of Harry Potter, where the good guys didn't win.
This is what happened to Dobby after he got tested
Dobby,
for testosterone enhancement. Like they pumped him full of roids.
Dobby wasn't getting the results he wanted, or it's old enough now, isn't it? That film when Dobby died, it's like they found a serum to try and survive, make him relive, and then it turned into this monstrosity. And then a massive warp opened and sucked a bunch of people from the Harry Potter universe into the world of Age of Sigmar. And then okay, that's actually a really good shout. Nate, that's a really good point.
Everybody's like, yes, Dobby.
And then Son of Atom is saying Groms, that's the name of the battering ram from Lord of the Rings. That I was trying to I can't remember what I called him, but yeah, Grom, and it's called the Great. And then the model I was talking about is the Great Beast of Gorgoroth, which is the name of that rhino sort of creature with the mount. I imagine this is a hell of a lot smaller than that, but it does give me that sort of vibe. And then Wikuti saying that the battering ram is called Grond, so the beast are only called the Great Beasts in the books. Got ya. And then Tom Mitchell was saying maybe it will be rules for Path to Glory for the stealing guys bonuses long term for the now. Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome.
And you know what? That sounds like really far fetched, but it wouldn't be too hard for them to try and implement. It would. It's small things make a huge difference. It would just feel like that small tick would be.
Dark Eldar, way back in the day of 40k, Dark Eldar used to get bonuses for capturing, how units run off the board. The Dark Eldar had a special rule where they didn't run off the board; they actually took them as slaves, and then you would get bonuses based on how many slaves you had captured. But they wanted to tone down the slavery a lot, so they got rid of those rules.
Yeah, like makes sense. I mean, like I remember, like who was it? Like, have you ever heard of someone called the Russian Badger?
Yes.
So he does like let's plays and stuff for games. And he did a let's play of the Total War game, and he decided to play. So Total War Warhammer, and he decided to play as the Lizardman. He said he actually thought the Dark Elves were really cool, but he thought he couldn't do a Let's Play. He goes like, "Hi guys, welcome very much to my Let's Play. Well, I'm going to tell you what you want to do with the Dark Elf campaign is maximize slavery."
Maximize your slave economy.
It doesn't sell well.
No, it doesn't.
Well, imagine they sell well for the Kruleboyz, but in real life. So then going on to Edict Command saying that give them a black coach style level up. A mechanic where the more models, heroes they capture, the stronger they get. That would be so... Yeah, like already, like all these ideas. So I'm sure when they came up for the rules of this, when they were chucking ideas of each other, going, yeah, that could work, that could work. Hopefully, any of the like 5 great ideas we've listed have been included.
Also, for cool kit bashing purposes for you people out there, if you capture a unit, you should try to actually see if you can get a copy of that unit, take its head, and like pin it to the wall. Like, this is the guy so you can have like an active campaign, like, you know, we captured this guy, kind of like a tally thing.
We see the spikes at the end of this, of Dobby, as we're going to call it. It's Dobby now. Easy to remember. You know the spikes with the hands are on?
Yep.
Just like drill holes through heads of like...
And of little models that you've captured, so you could like create like a narrative, like, yeah, these are all the people we've captured.
Yeah, like let's say you captured some models belonging to a... Blood Knight unit, let's just say, somehow, because that's probably not the best example because they're free piece. But if you did, you drew a hole for the Blood Knight helmet and then you just slot it on that. Right, it would be quite cool. Is it worth spending that much money on a kit just to get the helmet? Yes, it is. But you probably have if you're fighting against a mate who has Blood Knights, you should give you a helmet for that. So going on to Southampton, Gorgoron Warlord rules. Gorgoron Warlord. Is that from Lord of the Rings? Because I'll be honest, I thought I knew quite a bit about Lord of the Rings, like because I really like the films. I read like one of the books and The Hobbit, and then I went to I was in Warhammer World, but there was a Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth event.
Oh,
and in the evening there was a pub quiz at Bugman's, which is the pub at Warhammer World.
Okay. And
me and a friend were playing Gore Chosen, which is like a board game for Age of Sigmar. And we were just playing that, and then we heard there was a pub quiz on. And I was like, well, we both really like Lord of the Rings. Maybe we'll enter. We couldn't enter in the end because we turned up too late, basically. But the questions that are being asked is, what was the name of like Bilbo's, Bilbo Baggins?
Yep. What
was the name of his great uncle's second removed sister? And I'm like, I ain't got a clue. That's maybe slight exaggeration, but not really. Like those questions were like, if you've read all the books, you would still struggle. Yeah, like I was like, I'm so glad I didn't enter that concept. But there was also an arena battle between under-strength heroes of the game where you had Bill the Pony going up against a Khan Wraith or something. What was like, and Bill the Pony like kicked this Wraith skull in. It was great. Yeah, it was brutal stuff, like flashbacks. So we've got Brooke in the head saying that it stands up, Grot to go flying. Dobby is a freer. He just has a rule. Roll a dice like every battle round on a 6 or like on a 1. Dobby is a free elf. He stands up, realizes the wrongs of his the mistakes of his wrongdoings, and leaves the board. Remove this model from the table. that would be great. Can we all just agree? Let me know in the chat. Can we agree that we call this Dobby? Like that's just its name now. Nate has came up with its name. I imagine he'll be in conversation with Games Workshop about it. The slog off is now called Dobby. And then it's done.
I second this motion.
Exactly. And Dobby is a free elf. Sounds like a great ability. It could even be, I might change it on my war scroll in the book. I don't know. Fucking like scan the page and try and re-glue it back in and stuff. But it's just like, the rule might not even make any sense. If this unit gets a 6 to hit, it's a mortal wound, but it's called Dobby is a free elf. It doesn't make any sense, but you've got that. And then Otto cuts to the bounty saying, looking forward to the kit bashing that would come from these. Would be great for Nurgle. Yeah, like, the Garden of Nurgle. Really, it's a good point you made there, Bounty. Yeah. I think that could be cool. And then Race is saying, in Fury Roads, they are chained atop the cars with hooks and drums. We've got a drum and we've got hooks, haven't we, Boris?
We do.
There we go. Sorted. And then we've got Sloth saying that for some reason, Fury Roads makes the context sound even more horrifying.
Because he's not saying Fury Roads, he's saying Furry Roads, which I get what you're putting there, but
Right,
that's even worse.
That'd be. There's some very dark places on the internet, and we're not going to here.
Yeah, we're not going to bring those.
And then the son of Athens
he meant the Gorgon.
That's what a whole rule for the sloth thing. Oh, that's the Nate. Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool.
The Gorgon is the giant minotaur with 4 arms. That's actually coming out in Warhammer or Total War Warhammer now.
Yeah, this isn't it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Gorgon. Yeah, that's really cool actually, because there's that, and there's also Troglodons and a Jabberslife.
Yep.
Which is cool. Again, not the topic of this, but this stream has just turned into everything from childhood memories of terrifying monsters that'll eat me when I go to sleep
To Dobby.
To Dobby the house elf. Like I say, terrifying monsters that'll eat me when I go to sleep. So like, you don't think of the small ones. The small ones can hide under your bed. Right. So if you're facing one of these creatures, try to avoid getting grabbed by the grot's long, sharp snatcher's gear. And watch out for the Slugos bothersome regenerative powers. So that's cool. Maybe they feed it to keep it healing. Who knows? So 2 of the Kruleboyz units from the Dominion box set are also getting separate releases. And their kits include loads of assembly options and accessories, forming the core of the Kruleboyz battle lines. The Gut Riffers have a new weapon option to go with their vicious skitters. So you can have, so obviously they could have shields and spears from what we saw.
Yep.
And then here they've got, so you've got a dual weapon, guys. But I remember them. Okay, I remember these guys. They were saying that basically this is kind of like you can buy this box, obviously, to buy multi-part kits, so you have more options with your what they called your Gut Rippers. But also, this is more like a command box. So it gets you your banner, it gets you your leader, and it gets you a horn blower. I mean, all I would say is if you've bought like multiple Dominion boxes, like I bought 2 or something like that, and you think you don't really need too many of these, like I think you get 10 in the box. Let's say you've got 20, and you think I'm fine. Just find yourself a banner and give it to one of their hands, or it's not too hard to do. Or find yourself a horn and like put it onto their belt, things like that, and just make one of them stand on a rock so it looks like the leader. Well, I'll paint them up a little bit differently. Like, so if you feel like, I'm forced to buy this to get a command squad, you're not, but I can see people buying this anyway. Like, but just in case you didn't want to. That's all I'd say of that. But it does look cool. Like, that banner is very nicely skinned.
Skin.
Yeah. And they've, yeah, that skull's really cool as well, isn't it?
I like that. And it's got like a little head hanging off the side.
Like, I honestly think, how this stuff that looks quite dark for, like orcs, basically.
Yep.
I honestly think a lot of that is just how it's painted. Like, you see this head, the head that's hanging off there.
Yep.
Really pale skin and all that sort of thing. You can always see it's like the whites of his eyes and stuff.
Yeah,
you could easily just paint that up like a pink skin color with loads of blood on. Do you know what I mean? It just take away that sort of sinister look.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of this is done in the painting, but no, I really do like these guys. They look really cool. And I like it how they're painting up. Their skin colors aren't exactly the same. I think that's quite cool. So you got some variation in it.
I love the models that some people were showing off. Before they did the reveal, they were doing all the painting stuff. Somebody did theirs almost like greens, like what is it, the Gloomspite Gets color scheme. Look just as good. Look just as well. Like you can do these as like dark, evil greenskins, or you can play up the colors and make them flash. Like it goes either way. Yeah,
it's like. And especially where you kind of like, I might end up painting them similar to this color anyway, because I think the red shield's really nice and I like the bright green, but I'd probably do it even brighter. But then when you see all these other models, you're right, Boris, but you kind of go like, I thought I knew how I wanted to paint them, but now actually I want to paint them differently because I saw this.
Yeah.
It's great. And it may seem like, the first hour of that stream, if you want to go back to it, they were just looking at the same Dominion models over and over again, but painted differently. And that might sound quite boring off the off bat. But I'll be honest, like I watched it like in the background for an hour. It was really quite interesting. Like seeing all the different.
Yeah, they were really good.
Painters, yeah. And it gives you inspiration, and it saves you, Googling it all, because Google Images isn't great for that sort of thing. But no, they look cool. But the ones that look awesome are going to be. Sorry, I'll read what they say first. So these sadistic greenskins are well known to be spiteful and cunning, and they can overwhelm unsuspecting enemies through sheer weight of numbers. Alongside them are the Manskewer Bolt Boys with a new Bolt Boy boss option. So this is my favorite Kruleboyz unit from Dominion. Again, not exactly the same models, but these models are incredibly similar to the Dominion ones. I like this guy. Yeah. I don't even know if he's different from the one you get in Dominion. Like, I do kind of feel like it's a copy and paste over, but it should be a multi-part kit. I just think these crossbows, I don't know if it's because they remind me a bit of like Orruk with the crossbows.
Exactly, with those Orruk like weird teeth crossbows, like, yeah.
And these also look like they're like hunters or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see them like stalking the swamps. And I remember, I can't remember who it was, but I remember someone was saying to me, going like, well, if this is like the first like Orruk army that, bar arrow boys and savage orcs that have got shooting, why do they live in a swamp where there's like very little visibility? Tell you, pretty sure these guys do fantastic ambushes in swamps.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yes, range isn't a problem, but I mean, if you're hiding in a bush with that crossbow, first off, look at the monsters we've already seen living in these swamps. Mm-hmm. You got to bring something big to bring those things down. So you're gonna need something like this.
Yeah, and I thought of something like, these guys, or the massive blister that they have coming at some point. Because don't forget, there's a blister and there's that other troll coming as well for these Kruleboyz.
Yep.
As well as the Stormcast, there's that Adjudicator Hero, and that's that Chariot. For these Kruleboyz, like that blister or these guys, I can imagine it being like set up an ambush, like on a sort of like a rock in like, if you imagine like loads of reeds in a swamp, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's a path going through the swamp what people use for trade. And then amongst the reeds, about 10 meters into the swamp, it's a raised rock. And let's say you have a blister mounted on that in ambush, or these guys, and then you start shooting at a caravan that's going past. And then when they turn to respond to try and take out your shooting, they have to walk through 10 meters of swamp
to get to you.
Yeah, where they're going to get shot. Or a big beastie, like we've already seen, is going to come out and eat them. So, like, again, like I think there's like loads and that's like sort of cunning tactic, isn't it? So I can imagine you can make really cool dioramas of this. Like, so cool. But yeah, so I really like the arrow boys, and I really like the helmets as well.
Yes, the helmets are sick.
Well, they're so.
I love the bayonets too, like how they have like the bayonet sticking off the front of the crossbow.
Yeah, because I mean that's a big bayonet.
Like if you get stuck with that, like I
mean, you're just gonna think like, I know orcs are really strong, obviously, but how front heavy is that bow?
Yeah,
it's how narrow it gets at the end. But no, that's really, really nice. And again, like there's a head here as well, like on his base. Like it's done very, very dark and gruesome. I do like it. And it says, phew, so many awesome new kits coming out this year. And that's on top of the ones we've already seen. So can you keep a secret? We've heard whispers that there are even more new miniatures on the way to the Stormcast Turtles and Orruk Warclans as well. We'll let you know more as soon as we hear back from our Infiltrator Grots?
Yep, Infiltrator Grots.
Infiltrator Grots. Okay, got you.
Grots.
Yes. So what I think is interesting here, firstly, even more new models beyond, the two they showed us with the Dominion release. Obviously, well, all the Dominion models, the two they showed us with the Dominion release, and then all the ones they've shown here. But what I think is also really cool, apart from that, is they said Orruk Warclans and not Kruleboyz, which then makes me think maybe Mr. Dragon, Mr. Wyvern, because I love a good old Wyvern and I never could afford one as a child. So maybe Wyvern is coming out from here. By that, now that I've read that, I'm thinking there's a potential, which would be cool. But then, like, what does it go into? Or does it then just become like a generic leader for destruction? But then isn't that what Kragnus is? So it's a little bit confusing. But, we'll wait and see. And then it says, for your next steps of the new age, so the new Orruk Warclans and Stormcast Eternal Battletomes are available to pre-order in August. So I am right from what someone told me. So August does sound right. Hopefully it's not like, what's the last Saturday in August? Would be, hopefully it's not August 28th, and it is earlier than that. I think it will be, because I think they need to get these books out for these armies. And August is only a month away, so, it's not that long. August. A third Battletome will follow these in October, something a little more chaos-flavoured, we hear. So I reckon that might be Mad King and Nurgle. It will go and buy the oldest, because that is the oldest.
It's either going to be Maggot-kin, or I'm honestly hoping it's Blades of Corn, honestly, because they really need a rework.
Yeah, or could be Beast of Chaos.
Oh, if it's Beast of Chaos, I mean, go ahead. You can have my money right now. Like,
could you imagine their new models? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Because I could definitely see them fighting in a swamp. I could definitely go like, all right, Kruleboyz, this is, we're the original ones. You grew out of this fungus. This is our land. You're a product of our land.
Which is kind of actually the Beast of Chaos lore. They view themselves as like, we were here first. You guys came in and civilized it. Like,
yeah, the Beast of Chaos Battletome, one of the most interesting Battletomes I read, because it's kind of, number one, like a history of the Mortal Realms, but also it was they see the Grand Alliance Order as being very much the opposite of what it sounds like it stands for, because they see the order of things is the way of the beast, right? So it's the Beast of Chaos, might, rakes, right, all that sort of thing. When you come and start colonizing areas, that's very unnatural for the environment. So then they see that the Grand Alliance Order is actually unnatural, and that Beasts of Chaos are the natural beings of the mortal realms. So although they worship chaos, they actually worship chaos because they believe it's natural, like it's the natural way of life. So it really is like an interesting read. With it, and I could and when Order pushed Beasts of Chaos back, they retreated to these areas like swamps and stuff. So I could definitely see there's a lot of conflict between Beasts of Chaos and Kruleboyz, maybe. Would it be really cool if it was Beasts of Chaos versus Kruleboyz this box set, but obviously not.
Yeah.
It says, what does it say? So don't forget, there's still time to get your hands on one of the few remaining copies of Dominion box set. It's packed with 2 armies, awesome heroes, and beautiful special versions of the core rule books and full art cover. So it's the ideal way to jump into the new edition Wormage Sigmar, and then you can order it now. I mean, what I'd say with this, I was going to do a video on if you should get Dominion or not, but I thought Dominion would sell out so quickly that there's no point in me doing a video on that, because you wouldn't have a choice if you wanted to buy or not. Now that clearly you do have a choice, because good job on GW. Generally,
yes,
they made so many of this, so it was good. They did a fantastic job there, compared to some other releases. So good job. Yeah. There we go. Indomitus. So all of this, I suppose they made order on that then, but Curse City 100%. If you're wondering if you should get Dominion and you're new to Age of Sigmar, you want to do Kruleboyz, you want to do Stormcast, or even if you've been playing Age of Sigmar but you haven't bought the new core rule book yet, definitely get Dominion. It's worth it. It's such a good deal. I bought Dominion really because I needed the core rule book, and here I am talking about how I want to build both armies.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it's definitely worth doing, getting it, and then if you can get it from a third party retailer, as I always say, because it's cheaper, in my honest opinion, because I don't think I didn't really look into much to it, but I know you got extra bonuses if you ordered from Games Workshop. But I don't know if that was if you pre-ordered it.
Sounds like a pre-order bonus.
Sounds like a pre-order bonus, isn't it? But if it was just like an order bonus in general, and you want the extra goodies, then obviously get it from Games Workshop. Although I got a what did I get? So I ordered my one from a third-party retailer, and I got like a packet of sweets in it, which was quite nice. Which I thought the work had dropped into the box, but clearly it was generally going to be in there, and I was like, I'll definitely eat that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thanks for the candy.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, I'll take that. So there we are. With that one, it says, make sure you register for our newsletter, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's useful to read this out. So it says, to stay up to date as we delve deeper into the Stormcast Eternals and Orruk Warclan releases when we get closer to their pre-order dates. Oh, and if you enjoy waging war in the 41st millennium too, don't miss next Saturday online preview. If you like orcs, you will not want to miss out. What a time to be alive being an orc player. I mean, they certainly waited for it.
Yeah.
And then it says sub-factions offer new ways of building your army, which can open up new allegiance abilities for your force and give you different tactical options on the tabletop. And there we are. So that is this article, and I think we've managed to cover this in about half an hour, so it's pretty good going. But again, a sort of half of this was talking about Dobby and talking about my childhood memories. But I am going. So I'll be ending the video soon. Everything else. So if you've got any more questions, put them in the chat. But I'm going to be reading for you the chat now because I did leave it for about 10 minutes. So what we've got. Who are we next? Talking about Dobby. So let's get Dobby up, shall we? If we're going to talk about, I'd be rude not to, wouldn't he? It really does look like Dobby. Saying Dobby does have a harness on him that attaches the. Is it howdah? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's a howdah. It's a howdah.
Fantastic. I honestly have never heard of that word before, and it's just like, what a great, because I was going to call it a basket. So howdah definitely sounds better. To his body. So he does have a harness, doesn't he? And what I respect, what we haven't mentioned, is that they did it at the troll as well. They have cushions. They care. They got
a little cushion under there.
They may be Kruleboyz to their enemies, but to their pets, they're caring owners. So there we go. And then Arnold is saying, done deal with Dobby. It is. So that is good to hear. I think we can all agree Dobby is the way forward. And he said he just noticed about the harness. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, that thing stands up. Those Scots are gone. To be honest,
I mean, they can still fly off. Unless
I don't think
they're tied into the howdah.
Yeah, and bear in mind how short a grot is, and that doesn't even go halfway up them. That's probably about, I don't know, a foot tall. Probably not very tall at all. And then Declan is saying that life was unkind to Dobby when the warp dust addiction took to hold to him. It was. That's what happens when you take warp dust and you're a house elf. Awful stuff. But not for the grot. They've got a pet. NR11 or II is saying Stormcasts and Kruelboyz look amazing. My poor wallet. Yes, I mean, I think what we've established while we've been doing this is that there's been many deaths of many wallets going forward.
Ripple out of wallets. There's going to be a lot of people out of money because of these.
Yeah. I mean, I've got so much to work on. I'm still thinking, I really like the Blood Knights. I really like the Direwolves. I really like the Felbats. Much. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know there was going to be a preview today until about 5 days ago when I was told in my own Discord, someone told me, are you going to be covering the preview on Saturday? I'm like, the what?
I didn't know there was going to be one till today. I was I came on today and I'm like, hey, there's a preview. You want to watch it? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's because the thing is, it's just it's great, but there's so much new stuff. Surely, unless you're, I don't know, from Saudi Arabia, you can't afford to buy all this stuff.
And that's really my difficulty is I haven't even started collecting my first army. I haven't even picked one because I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to pick this. Hey, there's Soapblight Glaive Lords coming out. Oh, that looks really interesting. Hey, here's the Kruleboyz. And you're just like, I only have so much money to spend, Game Workshop. Like, can you wait a minute?
And then they just caress you and say really seductively in your ear, they whisper, do you go to people? And then there's the Beast of Chaos, potentially. Yeah. Maybe not. But you got the Dominion box, didn't you?
I have not gotten the Dominion box.
You have not got. Have I only just got this? You probably told me that earlier, didn't you?
I have not. I don't own a single model. I am.
Wow. Ooh, you're one of those how do I say it? Imagine an old Victorian town or something, or an old town from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Right? And you're sort of you're new to the area. You're generally a really nice person, a bit too trusting, and you have your pockets full of money, and you have the locals go, oh yeah, we'll show you around, mate. Yeah, and they just take you around the street, rob you, and then there's another gang that wants your money. Yeah. You're a right to be a victim.
I'm a kid in a candy store, but I'm smart enough to not just buy everything. I'm just I just want the one thing. Just
a week later, you text me. Yeah, so I started the there's each army I was talking about. It's like, I'm pretty sure he never mentions each to me. Did I not? Oh, I've done it. I've done it as well with every other army.
It's funny you say that because I did mention Zinks the other day, but
there we go. I mean,
because I was looking at them.
I would say so. All right. So, like I said to like the chat and the viewers and stuff earlier, I would say if you're wanting to do one of these armies and you're brand new, this is going to get you the core book. Do you have the core book?
I do not. I don't have anything. I have no Warhammer anything.
So that does because it's right behind me. Like that does get you the core book.
It does.
And it gets you do you know anyone who would want to go halves?
No, but I could probably find somebody in the Discord. Yeah,
because then it gives you if you only want the Kruleboyz, or if you want to test out your painting, you want to paint some Stormcast up. It's a good box for a very cheap price for War Dollies.
I might have to look into getting the Dominion box at the very least.
Yeah, it just gets you that book as well so this box is 3 times the price of the book.
Yeah.
So you're getting that extra stuff. You're obviously do what you want, but I'm just thinking, if you want to go all in with Soul of Grey Lords, I can't blame you.
It's so hard. I can't decide.
It's I mean, it's never a bad thing to wait, but the Dominion box set might not be here.
Yeah.
In a month from now, whatever. But so just cracking on with the rest of the chat going. Race is saying remodeling hot Groff to Dobby. Yes, please do that and put it in the Discord. If any of you aren't in the Discord as well, there's a link to it down below and put all your conversions and stuff in there for sure. And then Brick in the Head is saying heading out to the to his local store to grab my Dominion boxes. Have a good one. Oh well, thank you. When did you put that on? You put that a while ago, so you might not be here. But thank you very much for watching. Brick in the Head, and thank you very much for helping me out on my question earlier. And then Edic Man is saying it's a multi-part kit. They said that on the stream, so that must be about the crossbow guys. That's good to hear. Yeah, it should be. Otherwise, it's just putting an extra sprue of that for £30 or something. So that's good to hear. And then Stoffman is saying October is early this year.
Yeah,
sure, 100%. Yeah. So I think that's cool. Some of the new 40k Orc releases look awesome as well. The pig squig thing, the boar squig thing they ride on looks great. And then JJ is saying definitely going to be Beasts of Chaos cause monsters. You would really hope so. When there's so many reasons why it would be Beasts of Chaos that it'll be sad if it's not. And if not Beasts of Chaos, I think Mad King Nurgle deserves it. And then you've got Edic Man saying, I think the Kruleboyz dragon will be called a killer boss or new boss name goes here on more Crusher, more Slasher as a direct inverse to the more Crusher. I mean, yeah, that already makes sense. I'm on board with that name. Yeah, because that's how much they just twisted this around, haven't they? So yeah, I agree. That would make a lot of sense, and it also makes a lot of sense. It is something I want to see. So I hope you're right on that, Edic Man. And then we've got Samuel saying, "It got to head out. Thanks for a great live show." No worries, mate. Thank you very much for joining. I know you've been watching a lot of these live shows, so it's been great to have you watch along and let us know your thoughts. And then we have Donald saying that could Beasts of Chaos be due an alliance where pick between Chaos and Destruction. It's weird, Beasts of Chaos, because I mean, apart from a few exceptions, Beasts of Chaos don't like the followers of the Dark Gods. And even the Beasts of Chaos that do like the followers of the Dark Gods and do like, the Khorne dedicated, like the Khorne Gores and everything like that, the other Beasts of Chaos shun them and look down on them. They really don't like them because they see the Dark Gods as one aspect of Chaos, where if you're a true Beast of Chaos, you devote yourself to the entirety of what Chaos actually is and not a specific aspect. So they don't always agree with the Dark Gods, but I don't know if they'd go in Destruction. What are your thoughts on that, Boris? It's quite a hard. I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't know if it would be practical.
They are for Beast of Chaos. They are the most destruction-y of the Chaos factions. They fit.
Yeah, it's thing is Kragnos is very Beast of Chaos like, and he is in destruction. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to see, but I don't know if we would see that. But there is a lot of Cities of Sigmar stuff going around where it's 1 in 4 units in your army can be from this allegiance, what we've seen from Order. So maybe we'll see something like that come across. And then Race is saying that thanks for the stream and see you. No worries, mate. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know your thoughts as always. And then Nate is saying so much cheap Dominion splits, etc. on eBay. Well, there's, you know, you could get the Kruleboyz on eBay or something if you wanted, Boris or anyone else. And then we've got Donald saying that due to COVID, I never got a game, a second edition. It's jumped in just before lockdown. I not had a chance to see my pure Skyer on the table. That's a shame. But when you can, mate, it'll be worth it. Someone who's played Skyer on Clan Skyer on TTS, it's amazing. Like when everything goes right, you're going to blow the enemy up so well. It'll be a spectacle. And they won't be that upset or annoyed, mainly because half the time you try and blow the enemy up, you'll blow yourself up. And I think that's really where the sort of like fun side does come from. So,
yep.
So yeah, agreed. So there we are. And then we have got Neil saying Dark Crystal and Labyrinth was Jim Henson. So there we go. That's like, you know, we were talking about earlier about the whole, where did my idea of this guy come from? And then Neil's also saying it's a classic movie, which it really is, Neil. So I'm glad we agree on that one. And then Arnold is saying that good night, Dobby is all, and all is one in Dobby. So fantastic. Well, good night, Arnold. And with that, I will I'll bring this video to a close. So is there anything else you would like to say about these guys for us before we end it?
They're awesome, and Dobby is all.
As that, enough said. Enough said. And I just want to say to anyone who's watched the stream from like start to finish, absolutely fantastic. This stream has been like, well, we covered obviously all the news, but went a little bit off subject, as don't we always? But talking about, you know, childhood films and movies and TV shows and stuff. So what is not to like about that? So thank you very much for joining me. If you did enjoy the video, all I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you smash and like that like button, the subscribe button, the bell notification. Why am I asking you to press these three buttons? So simply by liking this video, it's how I know that you guys enjoy this sort of topic, like Kruleboyz, Stormcast, news, all that sort of thing, preview reviews. And then it means I'm going to do it more. And then also it shows to YouTube that people enjoy this sort of content. And then hopefully it recommends my videos to people who don't know anything about my channel, maybe nothing about Warhammer, and it gets other people into the community. So that'd be amazing. Also, if you can subscribe to the channel, so that's how the channel grows at the end of the day. And as we are, like I said, when past 6,000 not too long ago, it's just getting closer and closer and closer to the next 1,000, and then maybe one day to 10,000 be great. So if you click subscribe, that'd be amazing. And if you already think you have subscribed, you could just double check for me, because sometimes YouTube, for some reason, likes to unsubscribe some people. And then if you could do me one last thing, and if you did this, you know, I know I'd love you forever. If you could smash that bell button, so you want to ring that bell button as if you're one of these Kruleboyz ringing this cage. And why I'm asking you to do that? Because it means that you'll never miss a future one of my videos, especially how at the moment where, like, I did a video like yesterday, I've done one today. You might not be able to keep up when I'm doing the videos. It's quite hard to plan a schedule. So it means that you won't feel like you're missing the videos out when they're coming live, especially as a lot of my videos these days have been live. So if you want to join in the chat and stuff, make sure you press the bell button. Also, it really helps out the channel, and that's where the channel's falling behind the people who don't press the bell notification. So it would mean a lot to me. Also, if you feel like you would know anyone who would enjoy this video, make sure you share it with them, of course, as I'd be happy to try and spread the content to people who would enjoy it best I can. And also what I'd say is if you want to join the Discord, like we mentioned earlier, make sure you click the link to join Discord. You won't regret it. Amazing community. It's where Boris is from at the end of the day. And it's the conversation never stops in the Discord is what I'd say. And we're 310 members roughly, I want to say, maybe more. And there's so many different avenues of conversation: news, hobby, painting, gaming, list building for each army, loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. So join that if you would like to. And then what I'd like to say as well is that if you would like to support the channel a step further, I have got a feature where it's called the join button, which is next to the subscribe button. You can click allow to become a member here at Nagash, where you press that. You can give anything from just £1 a month, go straight towards the channel, or I have got a link to my Patreon down below, where you click the link, takes you to my Patreon, you give anything from just £1 a month. And why do I ask you to do that? It's like I always say, if YouTube was a business, I don't like really make any money from doing this or anything like that. I do it to try and help you guys with your hobby. And by these people being able to support me on a personal level, it allows me to know that I can justify everything I put into the channel. So if you'd like to become one of these amazing people, click the join button or the link to my Patreon down below. And like I say, even just $1 a month or £1 a month completely goes to keep this going. So thank you so much if you would like to do that. And then saying a massive shout out as well to the people who decided they wanted to do this and support me that way. I'm just going to add them up on the screen now because they do deserve a shout out. Always in every single one of my videos is going to be my members and my patrons, as they always say. And my biggest supporter is going to be my Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, which of course is going to be Filq. So thank you so much, Filq. That support is a huge and really generous self-support you're giving to the channel there. So thank you so much for that, and please keep it up. It really does help. And then my Morgasts, who are going to be Bleed Red and Necropolis. So this is the Mortarch of the Necropolis. Especially, thank you so much to UT for being Morgasts. It really massively helps, and it's very kind support you're giving to the channel there. And then my core of what makes my members and my patrons is going to be my vampires. That's going to be Mir, Stence, Rouse321, David A, Dragoonity, Ronni H, Darren L, SpareBear, Christopher H, Northdrop, Nathan F, Andrew G, Ben C, Wiggy Whooty, and Anthony R. Thank you all so much for allowing me to keep this up. And at that tier as well, it's a really kind offer you're giving to the channel. And then my Necromancers, which is Jacq.l, RadiationRiley, AW77, Dice Sagas, WolfNick, Michal W, Cranky Wombat, Madcap, Christopher C, Krista F, James S, Thomas B, Steve T, James T, Patrick F, JJ, R. Christopher, Sception, and Nathan F. Thank you all so much for allowing me to keep this up and to try and help people get into this hobby that we all enjoy. And if anyone would like to become one of these amazing people, like I say, click the join button or the link to my Patreon down below. If you can't do that, no worries at all. But all I ask is you smash the like button, the subscribe button, bell notification, 3 easy clicks, completely free, and takes you a split of a second to do. Would be amazing. But beyond that, I'm just glad that you really came and checked out this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed cracking in and like joining on the conversation stuff, and also just seeing all this really cool news that we got to see today. And let me know about that in the comments as well if you're watching this later. And with that, guys, I'm going to thank you all very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Like I say, remember until next time to stay safe, stay hygienic, make sure that you wear a mask. God say wash your hands. So when you play games with your Kruleboyz in Stormcast, you'll roll better dice. A massive thank you to yourself, Boris, as well, for joining me in this video, as it's your first time as well. And I think we can all agree Boris did a great job. So thank you so much, Boris.
Thank you. Had a great time.
That's great. We'll do like another video at some point with Kruleboyz and stuff, and we'll see what army you went for then, shall we?
Maybe we can make that a channel event where it's like, hey, watch Boris actually pick his first army.
It's like 10 years later. Boris saved a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. And I just want to, before I completely end, just want to want to keep up with the chat. So Crypto saying they're pretty disgusting. Honestly, can't remember that's about. It's like the Kruleboyz. And then Xapple was saying thanks for the stream. Declan is saying Kruleboyz, you know you want to swamp life. I mean, Declan's giving you a clear sign there, Boris. So there you go. And then
they're up there.
There you go. And then the ski kiss, and that's 100% not how the bad guys from the Dark Crystal was pronounced, but that's how it's in my head. So that's annoying, but I'm sure Neil will remind me how it's pronounced when I next see him. But with that aside, guys, thank you for everyone who's watching this. Thank you, especially if you join in the chat as well. It's been great to hear your thoughts. Remember, until next time, that Dobby is all, and all is one in Dobby.